Welcome to Psychology Seekers. Today's topic goes straight to the heart of something we all face, being heard and respected. Have you ever poured your heart into an argument, explained your point with flawless logic, and still walked away feeling like no one took you seriously? It's frustrating, right? People often assume that the loudest voice wins. But if volume really equaled power, every toddler having a meltdown in the supermarket would be running the world. The truth is something different and far more empowering. Real authority isn't in shouting. It's in choosing words so precise, so intentional that they cut through noise and instantly command respect. Imagine stepping into a meeting, a family discussion, or even a casual conversation with friends. You speak just one carefully chosen sentence, and suddenly people pause, listen, and lean in. No need to dominate. No need to raise your voice. Respect comes to you naturally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. I'm going to reveal 5 powerful phrases that can transform the way people treat you. These aren't tricks or manipulations. They're tools drawn from both psychology and timeless Stoic philosophy, phrases that create boundaries, convey confidence, and earn respect without aggression. By the end of this video, you'll have practical, ready-to-use language for almost any situation. Workplace clashes, tense family moments, heated debates, or even random encounters with strangers. And trust me, phrase number 3 is so effective, it can flip an entire dynamic on its head. Use it right, and even the most stubborn critic will have no choice but to change how they see you. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." When it comes to earning respect, this is the guiding principle. The right words, spoken with calm assurance, are like arrows, small but able to pierce through the thickest defenses. History has shown it again and again. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire not with shouting, but with clarity and composure. Modern leaders, too, are remembered not for outbursts, but for steady, firm words that carried weight. And in your own life, the same applies. You don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to choose the right words. So let's break down the 5 phrases that make people respect you instantly. Phrase 1. I understand your point, but I disagree. This phrase is deceptively simple, yet it carries a punch of power. At its core, it does 3 things at once. It acknowledges the other person. It communicates that you're listening. It asserts your independence of thought. Why is this important? Because most conflicts don't come from disagreement itself, but from people feeling dismissed or unheard. When you start by showing you understand their view, you lower defenses immediately. But when you add, I disagree, you make it clear you're not just nodding along. Picture this. You're in a meeting and a colleague suggests an idea that you know won't work. If you snap back with, that's wrong, or that'll never work, you invite conflict. If you say nothing, your silence can be read as approval. But if you calmly state, I understand your point, but I disagree, you carve out a middle path. Respectful, firm, independent. Psychologically, this phrase works because it separates the person from the idea. You're not attacking them, you're disagreeing with their perspective. That distinction creates space for dialogue rather than hostility. From a Stoic angle, this is about controlling judgment. The Stoics taught that we should never let emotions dictate our evaluation of truth. By saying, I understand, but I disagree, you demonstrate that you've listened with reason, not just reacted with emotion. In daily life, this phrase works wonders with friends, family, and even strangers. You're not shutting down communication. You're keeping it open, but on your terms. And here's the secret: the more calmly you say it, the stronger the impact. If phrase 1 is about disagreement, phrase 2 is about boundaries. This line is short, sharp, and impossible to argue with. It's the verbal equivalent of drawing a clean line in the sand. Why is it so powerful? Because it avoids justifying or over-explaining. When someone crosses a line, through a rude comment, an offensive joke, or even a passive-aggressive remark, many people either laugh awkwardly or say nothing. Both responses send the signal that the behavior is acceptable. But imagine this instead. Someone makes a joke at your expense in front of others. Instead of playing along, you look at them steadily and say, "I don't find that appropriate." Silence follows. The joke doesn't land. Respect rises. This phrase communicates two key things. You respect yourself. You expect others to respect you too. Seneca once said, "He who respects himself will be respected by others." That's exactly what's happening here. By naming something as inappropriate, you're not attacking. You're simply stating your standard. And when people see that you're not willing to lower that standard, they adjust their behavior. The beauty of this phrase lies in its brevity. You don't need to justify why it's inappropriate. You don't need to argue. The calm delivery is enough. This one is a game changer. It's not just a phrase, it's a reset button for toxic conversations. We've all been in situations where someone raises their voice, interrupts constantly, or becomes verbally aggressive. The instinctive reaction is to match their energy, to argue louder, to push harder. But what happens? The conflict escalates and both sides lose. Now imagine this alternative. Someone is speaking to you harshly. Instead of shouting back, you pause, breathe, and say calmly, "Let's talk when we can do so respectfully." In that moment, you flip the dynamic. You're no longer reacting. You're setting the terms. You're not saying, "I won't talk." You're saying, "I'll talk, but only under conditions of respect." That shifts the power instantly. From a psychological standpoint, this phrase introduces a boundary without hostility. It signals that you value dialogue, but you refuse to engage in disrespectful patterns. For the other person, it forces reflection, because they can either adjust their tone or lose the conversation entirely. Epictetus taught that we can't control others' actions, but we can control how we respond. This phrase is the embodiment of that wisdom. You can't force someone to stop yelling, but you can refuse to participate until respect returns. And the effect is remarkable. The first time you use this phrase, you'll often notice the room go quiet. Suddenly, people are more careful. Your calm refusal to fight on their terms makes them reconsider their approach. Think of this as the door-closing phrase. Where phrase 3 sets conditions for dialogue, this one ends it entirely. There are moments when a conversation is no longer productive, when the other person is arguing for pride, not progress. You feel the loop going nowhere, the tension rising, and you realize your time and energy are being drained. That's when you calmly say, "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation." Notice the phrasing. You're not storming out. You're not declaring war. You're expressing preference, which makes it firm but not hostile. It's a graceful exit, one that saves your peace without creating more drama. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This phrase is a modern version of that wisdom. Instead of sinking into pettiness or anger, you rise above by refusing to play the game at all. And here's the interesting part. Walking away in this way often earns more respect than staying to argue. Why? Because it shows restraint. It shows that your self-control matters more than scoring points. People may not admit it in the moment, but they remember it. The final phrase is a masterclass in balancing courtesy with firmness. It's respectful without being submissive, and it's assertive without being aggressive. When someone pushes their beliefs or tries to persuade you endlessly, it's easy to feel cornered. You either get dragged into a debate you don't want, or you nod along just to keep the peace. But both options leave you feeling disempowered. Instead, picture this. A friend insists you should adopt their lifestyle, or a coworker pressures you to agree with their plan. Instead of arguing or conceding, you reply, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it." In one sentence, you accomplish 3 things. You show respect for them as a person. You assert your independence of thought. You close the door to further pressure. Seneca warned against becoming slaves to the opinions of others. This phrase is freedom in words. It tells people, I value you, but my mind is my own. And that balance, respect without submission, is what earns lasting respect in return. So there you have it, the 5 phrases that, when spoken with calm confidence, compel respect without raising your voice. I understand your point, but I disagree. I don't find that appropriate. Let's talk when we can do so respectfully. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Each of these phrases is like a tool. The key is not just memorizing them, but knowing when to use them. They work because they combine psychology, philosophy, and practical communication skills. They show the world that you value respect, both giving it and demanding it. Over time, when people see that you consistently use language like this, something shifts. They measure their words more carefully around you. They treat you with greater consideration, and perhaps most importantly, you begin to see yourself as someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard, because true authority comes from composure, clarity, and character. Here at Psychology Seekers, we explore the wisdom of great thinkers and the tools of modern psychology, so you can navigate life with more respect, peace, and strength. If you found value in today's video, hit subscribe and join our growing community. And tell me in the comments, which of these 5 phrases are you most excited to try? I'll be reading through, and I'd love to see which one resonates with you most. Until next time, speak with wisdom, act with calm, and remember, words, when chosen well, are your greatest source of power.